Welcome to YouTube.com, featuring Robin Hoodie Radio, featuring this, another vinyl community contest entry. Robin Hoodie, why are you posting so much in the past few days? Well, it's because I want to get possible chances at money for vinyl as a poor college student. If we're being honest, but honestly, this, I found out about this through, I have trouble remembering, difficult to remember names, and it's like Guitar Man 7 Vinyl Honeyware. Link down his channel down below. He entered this contest, and the contest is for the channel Vinyl Talk with Tavis. So hello Tavis, like your channel, one of the more interesting vinyl community channels, if I'm being honest, in my opinion. So I of course subscribed and want to enter your contest, and I find these a fun way to show my collection and what I like, and if the questions are interesting and I actually own, they're not too specific where I could actually answer them. Um, Even though this one does have some still pretty specific ones, but I can still answer all of them, I feel. So I'm going to show off some vinyl to you all and possibly win some money for records in the process. If I don't win, though, still cool. You guys see the cool vinyl that I own within these parameters. So first things first is, can you name one to 5 songs that feature children singing in the song or chorus? And for that, what immediately came to mind is my copy of The Music Man, the musical, the movie musical. It's great, and specifically the song Gary, Indiana is what came to my mind, because features the kids singing about Gary, Indiana, and it's a fun little song, although I do find the kid's voice kind of annoying within the song, but then again, it was like the 60s and film, and 60s kids in film could be pretty annoying, sounding vocally wise. Said that weird. Anyways, this is great. I played trombone in high school, so I've always loved this musical. Well, in junior high, so I've always loved this musical. And 76 Trombones is awesome, and it's about a dude teaching kids music, but kind of scamming, but then he falls in love. And if you haven't seen this, highly recommend you check it out. It's from '62, I believe, because this was released in '62. This is a very nice copy of it. Glad I own it, and I guess I picked it up like end of last year, maybe beginning of this year. But it's great. I think I picked it up right before I moved, actually, because I was selling vinyl. Anyways, yeah, good stuff there. Next prompt is, what is your first album you remember buying as a child? And I will tell you that I did not have vinyl. We did not have a record player as a child. I didn't get into records until college years, still in college years, because it's taken a while, but freshman year, I believe, is when I found my record player at a garage sale and was able to get into the hobby. My brother had gone into it some, but yeah, as far as childhood, we did have CDs, but didn't like go to record stores. Really, yard sales where we got our music, or Christian stores, and so I remember Mardell, I purchased my first CD with my own money, which was Veggie Rocks, which was Veggie Tales, redone by popular Christian rock artists of the time, and that really broadened my sphere of music to listen to, because I had multiple genres, and even though Christian music is kind of like its own weird area music-wise, so it didn't fully expand it, but it did get me going. And then I can also actually own this 1187 Conquest CD. It's like pop rock electronic, and I didn't purchase it for myself, but I did purchase it very early on for my brother as a gift. And of course, as you can see, I like it more than him because I now have the CD. He doesn't. Anyways, unless you're part of the Christian subculture of like the late 2000s, then you probably don't know about this band. Never heard of them, but I certainly have, and it's actually has some good stuff on here. So still kept that. Hopefully that works. It's not vinyl, I know, but don't own any vinyl as a child. Didn't own any. Question 3 is, can you name your favorite song from a musical or musical movie? And that was an easy answer for me because I already know my favorite musical song from a musical movie ever, and it's one of my favorite, if not my favorite musical movie ever, and that would be from my childhood as well. It would be Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, the song Posh, by Mr. or Grandpa Potts. I think that's what he's called in the film. Anyways, yeah, Posh by Grandpa. It's 2 minutes 53 seconds long. This album is just awesome. This movie is awesome. If you have yet to see it, cannot recommend it enough. Sure, it's cheesy. Sure, it may not objectively be one of the greatest films of all time, but in my book it is. It's awesome. There's some stills from the movie. And Posh is just such a fun, funny song about the grandpa character, very British, and just awesome. And this movie is awesome, and I love that song. And I love this whole album. It just takes me back. Outside of Lovely Lonely Man, which is one of those 50s, 60s, high-pitched women singing songs, and I just don't like that style of women singing from that time period, because it just annoys me. But this is great. Check it out. If you don't own the vinyl and you enjoy it, I highly recommend you get it. It's such a cool vinyl copy. So, gatefold, love it. Question 4, can you name a song you remember learning while in elementary, middle, or high school? And yes, I can remember multiple songs I learned in elementary school, because there were obviously earworms that would just get stuck in your head. And so I can still remember them to this day, and some were really stupid, and I don't like that I had to learn them. But also some of them were classics, and among the classics I remember learning is, not from this film, but on this album, one of my favorite albums I own, Chattanooga Choo Choo. We sang that back in school, and like, obviously we didn't just sing crap songs, because Chattanooga Choo Choo is awesome. And not all of them, they were fun kid songs, some of them, but some of them I just look back. I didn't like choir at the time, I didn't like singing, yeah, I still don't like having a spotlight on me, and I felt like that's maybe related to why I didn't enjoy the singing. But we certainly had some fun songs. Like we sang the Tomato song, which Louis Armstrong and Ella Fitzgerald sang on one of their albums. But I don't own that one, so I'm showing you one of my favorite albums anyways, and a song I like a little better just because I love Glenn Miller so much. And that's Chattanooga Choo Choo. Interesting fact about this album too, it's the first time the song At Last was featured, and probably know the famous version from Etta James, but the original is from this album, so it sounds different, like big band jazz and more that time period vocals on it, so it's got a different groove to it, where like first listen through it I didn't even recognize that was what the song was, but then after seeing it I'm like, duh, of course that's At Last. So that's super cool. Fact about that, it's one of my favorite records I own. And then last but not least is question 5. If you were a music teacher for a day, what artist would you talk about to the kids and why? And I decided to go with 2 here. So first off, I would probably tell them about Wynton Marsalis, because he has just done so much in jazz education and just getting young people into jazz, and really just everybody into jazz. And he's just such a great musician, very talented, and so I just want to introduce the kids to jazz through the jazz educator extraordinaire, Wynton Marsalis. Love the guy, love this album actually. It's Black Codes, I believe is the title of it, yeah, and From the Underground, and it's awesome. So highly recommend you check this out if you don't. And Wynton Marsalis has written a few books, one which I own and would like to read soon. And he's just such a great guy. So love Wynton Marsalis. Would have to introduce the kids to that, as well as Jack Johnson, and specifically this album, because it is one of, if not the best children's album I've ever listened to, even as a child. Just so good. Jack Johnson this was my introduction to Jack Johnson, and everyone loves Jack Johnson. His style of music is just like so universal and just great anytime. Like, there's not a situation where you couldn't imagine a Jack Johnson song being okay to be having played at the time. So I think that made sense. Anyways, this album is awesome. If you don't own this on vinyl, I would also recommend you purchase this. It's a gatefold. It's got a really nice insert, lyric booklet, and it's a blue vinyl. I don't know if all of them are blue. I think all of them are blue, and it's super cool. Love this album. Favorite song on it would have to be Talk of the Town. That song, whew, gives me chills just thinking about it. It's such a good song. At the time, I really when I first heard this, I I think I was a child. When was this released? Yeah, I don't know when, but at the time, I loved People Watching, and of course, Upside Down is the most well known off this album. But Talk of the Town, I'd say, is the best song on here. It's super good. He also does a really good cover of "We're Going to Be Friends" by the White Stripes. So good stuff here. That's it for this final entry. Thanks, Tavis. I was gonna say Travis. It's Tavis. Thanks, Tavis, for the contest. Let me enter. I enjoyed making this video. Hopefully you enjoyed watching it. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, I occasionally post things from time to time, music related, always. So you'll get that. I'm not part of the vinyl community, but I do post vinyl videos from time to time. And check down below for my vinyl Instagram account, Vinyl Sheep, where I post my records. That's where I specifically am part of that vinyl community, sort of, because that's all I post there. So check that out, and I'll see you when I see you. Robin Hoodie out.